Down on the table I have a pattern, and this is the pattern for the jacket that I'm wearing. And it's actually being used as a test pattern because the fabric I'm wearing is relatively inexpensive. And before I cut this out of ultra suede, I wanted to see, do I really want it or do I not? So what I have done is make it out of this, and I'm seeing what things I want to correct. Now, before I ever cut out the fabric, I looked at this pattern and I thought, my, what a sloping shoulder we have here. And so I looked again at the pattern envelope, and sure enough, it did not say shoulder pads required in the little notions section. And even though perhaps this is the look of the future, I'm not ready to go back to being a pear shape. So I want shoulder pads in here, and I am therefore going to make a little change in this immediately before I cut it out. So what I have done is add from the lowest point here close to the neck, I have added about 3/4 of an inch to make room for that pad. So I just cut the pattern out 3/4 of an inch higher up here. Remember, this is where the bulk of the pattern is, out here at the arm's eye, and it tapers to nothing as you get toward the neck, so that's why we've tapered that way. If you do this on the pattern front, you also must do the same thing on the jacket back. So the back I would add the same amount to right here. Then something else that's different about this pattern is usually this line goes straight across all the way to the neck, and notice this one doesn't. It has this little peak here. Well, what this little peak does, if you'll look up at my neck, you can see that it stands up above here. And what that looks like to me is that that jacket doesn't fit me nicely, is what it looks like. I don't quite like the way it comes up. Now, I would like it if it came more all the way up on my neck here. Then it would look right to me. But right now, where it just ends in midair here, it looks like, take the shoulder pads out. There isn't room for them. It looks funny. And so I want to correct that too before I'd make it in another jacket. I would possibly cut that line straight across on the pattern and not build it up this way. If I'd cut this off, it would be more to my liking. So there's another thing. Then remember that if you add this extra for the pad space to the front and to the back of the jacket pattern, you also are going to have to add it to the sleeve, because that sleeve connects to the front and back at the shoulder. So I would have to draw that same 3/4 of an inch that I had there. I'd have to draw this little line up here on the 3/4 line, and I made it a little bit generous. And then I'd take my curved stick and decide exactly where this needs to be in order to add to it. So starting at the notches where you always do this, and I would just add a line here to go up that much higher, and it just tapers off smoothly then there at that back notch. And I do the same thing to the front. I would add a line from the front notch up to the top, and then it would just fit the very same way as it did originally, but now there's pad space. But if you'll look at this sleeve that I'm wearing, you'll see that what a sleeve should do when you have your arms just slightly away from your body, it should hang there without a wrinkle. There should be nothing. Well, you can see I have diagonal wrinkles in this. This is the way the pattern was built. That isn't quite to my liking. It's all right in this linen-like fabric. It's okay. This is just a quick casual jacket, unlined. It's all right in this. But I think before I would do this in suede, I would probably want to add still more to this sleeve up here on the shoulder, because if I'd add more, I'm just going to push this down to show you what would happen. Those diagonal wrinkles disappear. If I have more, if I have a higher sleeve cap, they go away. And this is how I would like it to look. Just very nice, very crisp in a heavier fabric.